Good morning. This is my first YouTube in a while. Uh, you're getting the 3 week homeschooled online COVID 19 version of me. In the past, you've seen a few videos as I tried to start. I'm so glad that YouTube has gone with the live streaming because this is easier for me. I don't have a great camera thing on my computer and it was not letting me take videos of myself. Um, so I'm going to be learning more about this as I go along. I hope that you all bear with me. And right now, because my daughter has decided to confiscate my phone during this COVID, I am stuck with the little burner phone, and it's like really, 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 really bad, like the worst video feed that you could get. So um, this is still probably not the best, but my daughter and my son, well, my son has kind of grown out of Jacksepticeye, but my daughter, who's 11, has gotten into him. And I was listening to him talk one night, um, encouraging, the younger viewers as they go through and start their YouTube feeds to just go with whatever. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you to all the other young YouTubers out there that got a hold of this and really used it. It amazes me the number of people that have brought this platform as a way of connecting. And yes, I'm a geek. I'm a gamer, old school. Um, so this is just kind of an introduction to me. When I originally started the thing, my children weren't born yet, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this YouTube thing based on Ask Honora, which was a self help. Well, not really self help. Let me restructure that. It was more of a way to connect my blog and where I answered questions. And I have on my Facebook feed. Hopefully, this does not get this marked as not within the guidelines. I'm not endorsing any other social media, but I will say that my other social media feed is where I do a lot of question and answers based on my own pagan beliefs and what I've learned. I'm kind of very eclectic. I've studied across different religious beliefs, and um, I've realized that even though my son has told me that your YouTube needs to be about one thing, that is so not me. And as you get to know me, you'll realize what I love to refer to as, I did not coin this, okay, but the spaghetti brain. That's just how I work. I kind of get all over the place. No, I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but sometimes I wonder. Currently, I am a single mom raising two special needs children who are awesome. Um, my son has his own YouTube feed, so mommy is constantly on there. I know this is going to totally embarrass him, but it's how you start. See, who do YouTubers who've gone famous have? They've got mom and dad and everybody else like liking their stuff and sharing it to all their friends and saying, "Hey, subscribe to my son." I'm not gonna I'm not gonna beg for any of that or anything, but yeah, just to say that I do have a son that's on here that I love his game feeds. I am I'm banned from playing with him when he plays his PS4. Um, and he makes fun of me when I play my Xbox One because I'm not as coordinated as I used to be. Maybe if I played a little bit more, but being that I've worked and raised children and done all those wonderful adult things, I don't have as much time as I would like. But I do enjoy them. But I love watching him play. I love watching his game feeds, and I love watching the other YouTubers that talk about that. There's one that my daughter watches on Game Theory, which is just fascinating because I just love that it's kind of like MacGyverish and that she's getting a real world application of math and science and things like this that I wish teachers would do. I am a teacher by trade. I taught English for many years. I taught special ed. My undergraduate degree is in English with concentration in 19th century English literature, Shakespeare, all the good stuff. And I have a master's degree in special education. Um, I love to advocate things. Currently, I've had a job career shift, so I am a certified personal support specialist as well as a certified family support specialist here in Minnesota. Lately, with the COVID and everything going out, I've been doing a lot of live feeds on Facebook. And when I had a chance to get this set up, I wanted to come over here so I could do kind of my feeds there on the other social network, but also do feeds here to kind of reach more people and more friends that I have that I know go on here. I don't have anything professionally set up. This is me, my lovely little Asus computer in my little townhome. Um, and I'm going to just speak openly about some things. I in the next couple of days, hopefully, we'll redo some of the things that I found helpful, such as um, relaxation techniques, things like that, ways to set your day up. I'll also address some of the other parents going through this lovely world of teaching our children at home, even though I just got done with a conversation saying, but you're not really teaching, you just need to get your kids online. Well, anybody else that's got special needs kids out there realizes that it's really difficult sometimes to motivate them because they're so used to that structure. And now we've had a whole structure change. And we're seeing that even adults, even, regular ed adults that are going around going, oh my gosh, this is like, whoosh. Um, I will talk about politics every now and then because we're seeing that a lot of that has a lot to do with things. I do consider myself incredibly opinionated, but I also try to be open-minded to learn about other people and learn about their cultures and ways of life, as well as um, try to put a little bit of thought out there. When I taught in the classroom, one of the things that I was really big on, and I still am because I do consider myself a lifelong learner, and I hope that other people do that too, is critical thought. Excuse me. It is so necessary no matter what we're talking about, whether it's talking about gaming, talking about arts and crafts, talking about schooling, talking about our problems, talking about the last movie we watched. Critical thought is just key, I think, to how we move through the world. And again, I'm not doing these YouTubes to become like some big, rich, and famous person. I don't think that that's ever, it's not my lot in this life. Because I believe in reincarnation, I do believe that I've been given the chance to work on humility. I just realized that I had that on in the background. I apologize. I do not own the rights to the music from In the Heat of the Night. Yes, that's what I have such a predictable schedule. Um, I like to have things on in the background, so when my morning starts, it's Perry Mason, Matlock, Lovely Meat. Well, let me don't do that. On the channel that runs all those, that's what I like. So I'm very predictable what's on in the background, but I do not own the rights to any of that, and I will try not to break any copyrights. If people who have done this before have tips and things like that, please, I'm open to them. I'm not going to say no to some free teaching. One of my wonderful friends has done a wonderful job during COVID of reading his poetry. He reads poetry every day. Some of it is most of it's stuff that he's written, but I think he's included a few other things in there. But I think what we can do during all of this, and as we introduce ourselves to each other, and as we get to know each other, and as again, I'll talk on all sorts of different topics. I will try to make sure that I entitle them so that you know kind of where my topic is. I don't know more than the next person. I also don't think I'm better than anybody else. I believe that we are all equal, wonderful, sentient beings on this world. And this is just another platform for us to connect. And I'm hoping that a lot of my stuff will maybe help to get you through a tough day. I suffer from mental health illness. I have challenges. I have depression and PTSD and severe anxiety. I was involved in two different domestics, one in my first marriage, one in my second, and I go to Al-Anon. I also follow the 12 steps for myself. Not that well, let's just put it this way. In society, they would have called me a nice little social drinker, and I do not hide that from people. That when I was teaching, that was my coping skill, and so now I have been sober for almost 2 years. Um, that's just an important part of my life. I'm not saying that it's wrong for anybody else. I just knew that that was something I had to give up because, especially, and I'm really glad I did. It happened before COVID because I'm finding that I've got new challenges and things that I have to deal with my own anxiety, which does peak. And so I'm learning. I spent about 4 years in DBT therapy, which you'll hear me talk about DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, and I'll talk about things from Marsha Linehan and suggestions. A lot of those come from my book because it helped me to deal with it. Although I'm a supporter of any type of mental health. I just think we need to, it shouldn't be a stigma. It shouldn't be something that you're afraid to tell people. Just like it shouldn't be afraid to tell people whether you're bisexual, trans, or what have you. And I am a big supporter of the LGBTQ community as I'm part of that. My pronouns, I go by she and her. And I have a respect for doing that for other people. So please, if you do have a pronoun that you prefer, please let me know if we're having an engagement, a talking session. What else can I tell you about you? I told you I'm pagan. I'm very eclectic because I've studied a lot across the board. I have a Buddhist shrine in my home. I have enjoy the teachings of Hinduism, and I still pray my rosary. I grew up Catholic. And yet I've been eclectic of the different belief systems from my goddesses primarily are and have been the mother figures. It seems that I am in that sandwich generation, and those are the ones that have come to me. So I've worked with Hera and Freya and Frigg, and I have worked also with Hecate. And as again, this is just an introduction to me, so you can kind of know where I'm coming from. I've done many different types of rituals across the board throughout my day and my studies. I don't claim to. I'm not a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's just a little bit so that you, as I do like kind of more centered talks, maybe you'll get an idea about why those are. I have done work with, in terms of witchcraft and things like that on that end of it. I work a lot with Anubis, and I have worked with Ishtar. I, interestingly enough, did do the ritual of the Waka Banana many years ago, and it was incredibly personal, but also incredibly enlightening. I read tarot professionally. I have done that for the last 20 plus years. I did work for a public network. They've asked me back once again, and I'm still debating that because it's funny because I've heard people talk about how, they just professional tarot readers prey upon vulnerabilities. Well, the problem with working for an organization is that the readers themselves don't see very much of it. I am donated more in person, and I say donated because when I read tarot for somebody, if somebody is going through a rough time, I don't come out and say, "Oh yes, this is my flat fee." I've just never done that. I know a lot of people say you should, so you're not taken advantage of. I've always felt that if you need to send me toilet paper for a reading, I will accept that. If you want to send me a cheesecake, I will accept that as payment. I'm very much into the barter system. I've done readings for free for people that were just like, look, I don't have it. I'm poor. I'm in this situation. Got laid off, but I need to know something. I'll do that for people. That's just always been that's just been a part of who I am. You'll find that I really thought, I'm 47 now, and when I was growing up, I thought that my future would look something like Star Trek. I thought, oh, by now we're going to have this, maybe not like being in space like that, but that we would have the Federation. And as we all know, the Federation started out rough. I'm hoping for a change in how we do things in America. And that's where I'm from. That's where Minnesota's located. For those that might not be from here or are not into geography. I'm in the northern part of the state, so we have 2 seasons: construction and snow. That's our joke in Minnesota. We had a late snow again in kind of middle of April here, and starting to warm up. I'm hoping to get some plants out. So that said, totally did this impromptu, and I am totally losing my train of thought here. Moving kind of along, I guess. So we talked a little bit about planting. I do like to garden. I'm not such a green thumb. I have a philodendron that does not want to do its thing. I don't know why. My palms are doing wonderful, and I'm hoping to get strawberries and tomatoes out. My strawberries seeds have not arrived yet. Probably won't until end of May. Tomatoes, I got one of those new tomato hanging things. I've never used one. So if you've used one, shoot me a little note and say like maybe a how-to or what's best for using those. I have a total of 6 children and 3 grandchildren, and I love sewing, crafting, all kinds of things. If you just hang on a second here. In a minute. Stand right there. I'm on live feed. I'm on live feed. Don't come. Okay. So, as I'm trying not to show off my children here. What else? I think that's kind of good for an introduction. I think you'll find as I go along, I mean, I'll reveal things as I talk. Huge sci-fi buff, love Star Wars, love Star Trek, love Firefly. I'm kind of a big kid at heart because I keep my little baby Groot next to me just to show you that, yes, I am a geek. And I think for that, I'm going to end my stream and we'll catch up later. Thank you.